Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to touch upon a childbirthing preparation class that I did take. I wanted to just kind of talk about my experience and how I felt about taking the class as a first-time mom. So without no further ado, let's just jump right into the video. Entering into my third trimester, I knew I wanted to take the childbirth preparation class. That way I can kind of prepare myself mentally and kind of calm my nerves for labor and delivery. So my boyfriend and I did attend a child preparation class in the beginning of August. The class was from like 10 to 3 o'clock, so it was a pretty long class. We did have an hour break. I'm going to break it down into categories of everything that the child preparation class did talk about. So I'm going to start off with labor. So that was pretty much the first section that the lady instructing the class spoke about. I just want to mention the lady that taught the class was a certified nurse for about 14 years. So it's not just like a random person teaching the class. Well, in my case, it wasn't. It was an actual nurse. We actually went to a hospital and took this class. So it wasn't just like an outside source or anything like that. It was an actual nurse teaching it. But so she started off with like labor and pretty much showing videos and everything like that. The videos did showcase 3 different types of births, so kind of like a non-medicated birth, a medicated birth, and then a cesarean birth. Pretty much in the labor category, it kind of just showed you about contractions, how to time your contractions, when you should see a doctor, certain fluids that come out of your body that may be concerning, and just stuff like that to notice that you are in labor was pretty much the first category that the nurse did go in depth about. So the second thing that the class did talk about was relaxation. So the nurse did show us videos on some breathing methods and different rhythms to do to help kind of calm your nerves, to help with any contraction pains that you may be experiencing, kind of how to distract yourself and when you should go into the hospital. I'm not going to be going in depth about everything that was spoken about just because I'm not a licensed nurse or certified or anything like that. I'm just going to be sharing the experience and just kind of an overview of everything that we were taught. But pretty much in the video they were just telling you to breathe, to bake cookies, to just kind of find something to distract yourself until you cannot take your contractions anymore and you need to go into the hospital. I thought it was a good tip that the nurse did say to pretty much, if you know you're going to go into the hospital, eat before you go to the hospital, because you're not going to be able to relax when you get to the hospital. You're not going to be able to relax and actually eat something or be comfortable because the hospital is not going to allow you to eat. They're just going to have you on popsicles and ice chips. So she said if you wanted to make sure that you're full and somewhat relaxed, because you know you're having contractions so you can't really relax, but she said to make sure that you go in and just eat before you go. So that was like her little relaxation tip. But they did show like the breathing methods and stuff like that, which is helpful because it showed like your partner helping you with the breathing methods, and then they also showed kind of like a massage for your partner to do to help relax and relieve any pain, which was really nice too. So that was pretty much the relaxation portion of the class. So something else that the class did speak about, or the nurse spoke about, was pain medications and different medications that hospitals do offer. So we learned about the epidural, just kind of like the Pitocin, and just kind of the common medications that are given to you or that you can receive when you are in labor. It did go into depth on passing around an actual like catheter and like the actual needle and everything like that that goes into your back when getting an epidural. They spoke about the 2 types of epidural, which is the walking epidural and then the full-blown epidural. They just showed you a lot of things that they could do in case they can't really properly track baby. They show you something that can go in like your vagina and stuff. So they showed a lot of different things when it came to like medicines and everything like that. We also learned that every hospital is different, which makes sense, but at the same time doesn't make sense, because like the hospital that we took our class at, if I wanted to get a walking epidural, they don't have that at that hospital, but the other hospital does. So you kind of have to really do your research on the medications and stuff that you want to take when you are going into labor, and just make sure that the hospital that you are going to deliver at has everything that you need. That is just a little tip I would throw out there, because if I would have never known that, I would have been like pissed off if I would have went in and I wanted an epidural, but I wanted the walking one and they didn't have it. But yeah, they went in depth about Pitocin and just kind of what that does, and just a lot more medications they did mention to us. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they did give us like a list of medications and stuff that we could take during labor. Another thing that they touched upon in this class was cesarean births. I really don't know too much about cesarean births, and going into the class it was really nice to see the procedure of a cesarean birth and to find out a lot of information on like recovery and how the process is, and why they do them, and just kind of the overall process of a cesarean birth was actually taught at the preparation class, because it pretty much anyone can get a cesarean birth. And in our class she was saying that at least one of us is going to have a cesarean birth, so that was pretty interesting to see how that whole process did go. So like I mentioned in the start of today's video, they did show us 3 different birthing experiences, and these were actual women giving birth. So we did see the vaginal birth of a child in 3 different ways. So we did see like the non-medicated way, and in the non-medicated way they just showed you how the partners helped each other to relax, how she kind of pushed through it, just like the breathing techniques and pretty much everything that I touched upon in the beginning of this video. Then we saw a medicated birth, so we actually saw how they did like the epidural, and we watched that lady deliver her baby as well. And then I said non-medicated, medicated, and then the cesarean. So they didn't show the full cesarean. What they did was had a like digital cesarean being done, and we saw that, and then we saw a real life clip of them like actually taking the baby out of the stomach, but that was pretty much it. They didn't really go too depth on an actual video of seeing the cesarean birth, but it was really nice to see all 3 of the births in my opinion, because like I don't know if I'm gonna take medicine. I don't know what's gonna happen at birth, so you kind of just have to go in with an open mind when you're going to give birth to your child. So that's pretty much what I'm doing, is going in with an open mind. But like I said, I was really happy that we got to see all 3 of those births, and I'm really happy that we got all the information that we did from those 3 women that were delivering their babies. Another thing that we learned in this class was about postpartum care. So I went in there knowing quite a bit of information on postpartum care because of YouTube and doing my own research. I've just been looking up videos, just doing Google research, and just trying to figure out what I want to bring, what I want to use for myself, and everything like that. We did find out like certain things that the hospital provides for us and certain things that the hospitals don't provide. Like I did mention, every hospital is different, so if you have any like questions or concerns about what you're going to receive for postpartum care, I would definitely contact your hospital in advance to figure out what you need to bring and what they will provide you. For the most part, they do give you everything, which is really nice, but our nurse was saying there's some things that you may want to bring from home that is more comforting and just something that you're more used to, I guess you would say, and just stuff that you would prefer. For example, like you wouldn't want hospital toothpaste, you would want your own toothpaste is what she was saying. So just little things like that, I would just call your hospital and find out. But they did talk about like postpartum care, on how the nurse would kind of direct you and show you everything that you need to know before going home. They're not just going to be like, here are all these supplies, now go home. No, the nurse is actually going to take you into the bathroom and just kind of show you everything if you're a first-time mom and you don't know like anything about postpartum care. So I did feel more comfortable knowing that I'm getting like that reassurance and they'll be there to help out. So the final thing that the class did do was an activity of how a baby was pretty much born. We did like a balloon activity and put a golf ball, and we had to birth the golf ball, and it was just kind of showing us how contractions were and how the uterus and everything kind of contracts. And yeah, that was pretty fun. And then we had kind of like a jawbreaker, is that what it's called, or a jailbreaker? I don't remember. Icebreaker. I have not been to school in so long. I think it's called an icebreaker that they do in the beginning of the class, where it was a bunch of questions on birthing and just like, what is this called, or how much does the placenta weigh, or how much is a normal baby length, and just stuff like that. And we went around the classroom and gave our answers, and if we were wrong, obviously she told us the correct answers, and we just kind of filled them in. And we learned a lot of information because it was a sheet long of just everything you could think about possibly asking. So that was really nice. But those were really the only two main activities or interactive activities that we did. And then of course, like with all the things that she did pass out to us, like the epidural, catheter, just like a vacuum thing in case the baby is like stuck, and just things like that, we were able to actually feel and see. So it's not going to be a surprise if someone or yourself needs that when going into labor. Overall, I'm really glad that my boyfriend and I did the child preparation birthing class, just because it kind of eased my mind on going into labor and delivery. It's nice to know all these moms that have other stories that they did share in the videos. It showed you just a lot of things that you wouldn't know if you've never given birth before, and I just feel like the class was very informative. If you have one in your area, I would definitely look into it if you are just kind of on edge, or you just want some more information, or just anything like that. I definitely recommend, because they do feed you so much information. Like I did mention, our class was from 10 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, so you know we got a lot of information. But yeah, you guys, I hope you enjoyed my little input on a childbirth preparation class. Be sure to give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below, and I'll speak to you guys in my next video. Bye!